いいかしも自分を信じるな。俺を信じろ。お前を信じる俺を信じろ。
This is a famous line from Gurren Lagann. And I believe this is one of those lines that audibly charge into our memory lane without any sort of permission. The best thing yet, I have no intentions of permitting this line to leave my brain. But this famous line does not sit with solitude. It is accompanied by another line that I will always remember from Gurren Lagann. It happens precisely 492 minutes and 45 seconds later. After the blade with mutated length, after the shuffling of a drill that nearly kills Kamina, and after a giant structure that falls through the sky, undressing all its outer layer just to reveal what fear looks like in robotic form. It is a line that I'm sure not that many people take notes of. And just like that line, the one who said it is not even the most important character in the anime. It is simply a line that says,
そんなマシンが人間の心に左右されるなんて。
It is hard to explain why this line lives in my memory after all these years. It's not like Gurren Lagann is an anime that lacks quotable lines. Others probably will choose something else. But for me, that line always so succinctly summarizes the message of Gurren Lagann. And because I'm not sure how many people who are watching this video actually have seen Gurren Lagann, so it adds an extra layer in explaining the quote. Even if you have seen Gurren Lagann, sometimes some details may get over your head simply due to translation problems. From the very start, we are introduced to this small little guy called Simon. He has this one special skill. He is really good at falling under the surface. He digs around with his drill, finding treasure as hobby. He, in various ways, is nothing like his soul brother, Kamina. Kamina proudly proclaims that Simon will one day use his drill to pierce the heaven, something that totally makes no sense, because there's no soil in the air. There's no factual or logical usage for drilling oxygen. This will not be the only thing that makes no sense from this character. Kamina and Simon were living in an underground village. They have never seen the sky and natural light. They have been told the surface is nothing but a lie. And yet, when the day finally comes, when the limit is no longer a foe, Kamina just casually whips out a flamboyant sunglasses to embrace the sun. It's like he knows he will not be bound by indoor structures. He has the sunglasses without knowing what a sun is. These brothers are quintessential examples of being polar opposite. One gets deeper, one gets higher. But this should not come as a surprise if you know Japanese, because Simon sounds like the word down and below, while Kamina sounds like the word up and above. From their very essence, they are meant to be different, and doing things differently is what sets this anime apart from others. Oftentimes when you see mecha anime, they will try to come up with theories of reasoning as to why things work the way they do, like photonic energy or synchronizations. But when the crew of protagonists were being told they now can fight in the space because their gunmen have been designed for atmospheric re-entry, one of them literally asked, "What is atmosphere?" They have no regard for technicality. It's like they know at the end of the day, the things that power their machine is not science, but something else. This is not the only time this happened. When it is trying to give out the plot exposition, revealing the importance of an imaginary accelerating time-space located in membrane of a different dimension, no one is paying attention. And one of my favorite scenes happened when the character Leon Littner tries to explain the history of the world that they are living in. It's about how their enemy Anti-Spiral is the exact opposite of Spiral tribe, aka the tribe that the protagonist belongs to. But no one can pay attention. So he just made a heart shape and says, "Love changes the universe." This hard explanation reminds me of another hard explanation. You see, in essence, a mecha anime is about robot. And the one feature that robot has over human is the ability to change themselves. The physical body is something that can be pulled and pushed apart, a canvas that joins together like a puzzle. And this idea of fluid physicality is not unique to the mecha model, because there's also this one brand which is famous for how it's creatively joined things together. I'm talking about Lego. It's quite well known that if your break has a start, then there's no shape that you can't conquer. The toy company can fit characters from different style and different design cohesively, from Fortnite to a city, from a furniture company to a shoe company. No matter how you see it, Lego just has its way of adapting. The craziest thing is, you can tell it is a Lego. It's like turning on a camera filter. Lego becomes this new phone, this new fashion, so to speak. And with that in mind, it is therefore always interesting to hear about the Lego mind-body problem. It is a problem that, if you said you have heard it, I would definitely call you a liar. It is also a problem that, obviously referencing the mind-body problem from Descartes, the famous dualist who proclaims your mind and your body are two separate things. The two exist independently. A statement that sparked numerous agreement and disagreement in the world of philosophy. And this debate would somehow reach far enough to the realm of Lego. It all started with the rise of technology. After Lego established itself as a famous franchise, it turned its attention to other franchises. Partnership after partnership. And just like Pepsi, who made the video game Pepsi Man, Lego would also like to join the virtual world. But they didn't realize they would have this obstacle. An obstacle that sparked internal conflict within the game design. And this historical event can be easily summarized by these two pictures. Do you see a problem here? Both of them are hard, but one of them is from the Lego Star Wars the video game. The other is from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. For the first time ever, there is a shape that cannot be Legolized. It is just like any other generic heart shape. This design choice comes from the fundamental appeal of Lego. When we play Lego, we don't just want to build stuff. We rip things apart to create our own unique design. So it would be natural to merge a combat system to this idea of destructions and creation. And just so happen, most of the famous franchises are action-oriented. So most Lego games follow this similar logic of, here are the bad guys, and here are some Lego for you to break. You go there and fight your enemy by building cool stuff and earn some money to unlock new characters. Pretty straightforward, until this happened. For the first time ever, the Lego team needed to design something inside the Lego body to fit the combat system. It was something unheard of at the time. Like, there was no point to do interior design for Lego, which is why originally the developer didn't think much of it. They just make their heart look like your usual Lego product. But then they realized if we made a heart with studs on it, then it would create confusions for the players, because the useful Lego bricks and the heart can appear simultaneously. And since the target audience for Lego games are children, they might then think our heart is something that can be broken down and utilized. This heart design also further implies another problem. If we make a heart look like a Lego shape, and I can regain my health by beating up the bad guys, then does that mean me and the bad guys are connected? Think about it. The ingenuity of Lego is the ability to connect anything together. If somehow my life, my existence is dependent on the bad guys that I'm beating up, then wouldn't that mean in nature we are the same? Ultimately, I think the lead game designer John Bolton sums things up the best. Think for a second and really contemplate, what is a brick? It's a tool, a foundation. And I don't see why children cannot draw this conclusion to a Lego brick. Every piece of Lego is meant to be taken apart to create something new. So if we make a heart shaped like a Lego, what are we really suggesting here? Are we suggesting our foundation, our heart, is a tool or made from a tool? A tool to create something that is far more important. But what is more important than your heart? And what is this new thing that we are creating with a Lego heart? Your hero character literally destroys public facility and publicly execute life to sustain itself. You do all this to earn a few extra coins to unlock new cool characters. So tell me, who really are the bad guys here? If our heart really shapes like a Lego, then it would be too on the nose. Sooner or later, the kids will figure out the connection between you and evil is just one break away. And this problem will later be called the Lego mind-body problem, because John Bolton jokingly pointed out, I always find things ironic while working on this project, because I kept on coming back to the conversations of Descartes and Elizabeth of Bohemia. When Descartes famously announced the mind and body are two different things that exist independently, Elizabeth of Bohemia asked an interesting question. If mind and body are separated, then how do we move our body? Our mind should have no agency to interfere with the physical material flesh. There must be something that connects those things together. There should be something that links the heart and the body. The irony lies in the fact that the only reason why the Lego can move around is quite literally because the world is built to connect. And yet, when the time finally comes, when we finally see what is inside the Lego, we find out the heart has no connection. It is smooth as butter, wrinkleless, frictionless. The heart is such a weird thing. It just doesn't make sense. How can it be connected to a machine? Well, at the same time, the robot, aka gunman in Gurren Lagann, also doesn't make sense. When you first encounter the gunman Lagann, its eyes are closed as if it is sleeping. But robots don't need to sleep, and when it is being attacked, it runs hard and anxiously biting his teeth. It's almost like it is scared. They are so alive, doing warm-up before a fight, feeling pain when it gets hit, shouting like a human. They are not cool supplementary gadgets. They are an extension of us, extension of our feelings. When Kamina wants to combine with Simon for the first time, the story didn't go for the usual mega route of finding new secret technology. There is no replacement or renovation of the machine. In fact, in order to be stronger, Kamina needs to actively destroy the gunsman's body. He shoved a gargantuan drill into the machine like an amateur mechanical engineer. The crazy thing is, no damage can be seen when they break off. There is no wound. Just like a human body, you wear down your muscle, breaking tendons to be stronger, and it leaves no scar on your skin. It is a machine with an overflowing spirit. A machine that reminds me of the exhibition Can't Help Myself. It is an art exhibition that displays a robot who can no longer contain itself. According to the creator, it is programmed to try to contain the hydraulic fluid that's constantly leaking out and required to keep itself running. If too much escapes, it will die. It is such an interesting concept. The fluid is so visceral. A flood of liquid is enough for you to transform from inorganic to organic. No organ, no memory, no personality is needed. But it does have a little something, a little dance. According to the creator, but the best part about the robot is the ability to do happy dance for the spectators. The dance will spill the fluid to places where the robot can no longer reach. Yes, this will kill the robot, but it just can't help itself. It is something you just can't contain. Slow-moving water will just cause pollution to the river. It is the overflowing joys and passion that push things forward. If the fluid is not meant to be contained, then let it rush outward, flow in all directions, horizontally, vertically, recklessly. If we cannot stop the liquid, then we might as well have fun with it, have a little dance. If it wants to fly, then let it fly to the wall, fly through the stratosphere, fly to the universe. One day we will realize the lights in the sky are stars. Yes, they are stars. Stars where someone is waiting for us. Gurren Lagann is an anime that doesn't make sense. I mean, the first type of enemy that you encounter is literally beastmen. It's not just human who can control machine. It's not just human who have emotion. But the second type of enemy from Gurren Lagann always leaves me with a stronger impression. They appear out of nowhere. They are the exact opposite of gunmen. Because in Japanese, the true meaning of gunmen is actually face. And now the new enemy that they needed to face is Mugen, no face. It is an enemy with no emotion, because it is literally lifeless inside. When it gets destroyed, it just turns into a bunch of shapes. But the weirdest thing is, as we push through the horde and horde of new enemies, the enemy features suddenly changes. Now they have a face. They have a human feature. They are no longer just geometry. The show never explained why this was the case. Why a spaceship would turn from no face to too many faces. How can the universe go from something as simple as cube and sphere to something as unpredictable as human emotion? And how is it possible that our solution is exactly the same as our problem? How can a cold robotic machine create such raging destruction that it makes our blood boil? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Trying to write video essay online. I mean, what I am ultimately doing isn't it just telling you 1 + 1 = 2? It's not like I make Gurren Lagann. It's not like I'm an animator. In fact, I'm no creator in general. But if I'm just here to tell you factual knowledge, then how was it possible for me to create something beautiful? How come I can make you feel something? Is it me who is doing the job? Or is it the story that I chose is factually emotional? What happened if I run out of video idea? What happened if I run out of so many facts that I used to tell you stories?
ここを開けろしまう。さあ食いしばれ。
But then we have Gurren Lagann. It is bombastic, chaotic, and all over the place. It's proudly proclaimed, who cares? Who cares if I will break the machine? Who cares if my sword is absurdly long? Who cares? Just go out there and create. Just make stuff up and show it to the world. The blatant disregard toward anything reminds me of a scene from the anime. In episode 27, the final episode, our great enemy Anti-Spiral is having conversation with one of our protagonists, Nia. The Anti-Spiral said, "We have no need to understand. We only need to know." Nia replied, "Then you will never defeat them." The whole point is not to know how things happen. The whole point is just to understand that the possibility of human expression is endless. So much so that even our heart can connect to a machine. It's not about making sense of the world. It is about how to make you feel the world. And how is there a better way to feel this world than combining a hat to a giant drill, throwing galaxy as weapon, and wearing sunglasses as a robot? You don't know Gurren Lagann because you just need to understand. Understand it is a story about a guy who digs so deep into the ground that he finds himself flying into the sky.